I am Father Jose Poch, and I would like to introduce you to the incredible power of three. The Incredible Power of Three is a marriage conference that St. David's just sponsored, not only for our church, but also for other churches in our diocese. We had with us Dr. Gary Brainerd, a clinical psychologist with over 30 years of experience. He led the conference. It was a powerful event in which all of us worked hard at growing and maturing our marriages. I conducted a brief interview with him, and I would like to share with you just a couple of the topics that he dealt with. Dr. Brainerd, earlier today, you were talking to us about constrictors and exploders. You said that a constrictor was like a turtle, and an exploder was like a hailstorm. And that was a very interesting and very visual imagery that you gave us. Would you share with us a little bit more?
We all have learned to cope with stress and difficulties, particularly pain and frustration. And generally, you will move one direction or the other. You will move in the direction of being a turtle in the presence of pain or frustration. A turtle will withdraw, pull in, shut down, get quiet, avoid any kind of conflict. And they do that to survive. Sometimes I will say, like, every cell in a turtle's brain says, if I open my mouth and talk and start sharing or interacting, I'm only going to get in trouble. So they keep quiet. That's the constrictor of energy, the turtle. The hailstorm is one who, when they are in pain or frustration or anxiety, they act, they explode, they express. The lion and the tiger, roar and attack. And some people, when they are in pain or frustration, go after, they get aggressive, they criticize, they demand, they get energized. The underlying wound for a hailstorm is usually some kind of neglect, invisibility. They have learned that if I'm going to get my needs met, I've got to be the one and go to make it happen. You can't just sit around and some nice person is going to come around and say, what are you needing? What can I do for you? So they pursue, they go after, they get aggressive. And ironically, when turtles turtle, that activates their partner's wound of being neglected or being not there, no contact. Right. Hailstorms long for somebody to talk to and attend to them and be interested in them. So when the old turtle's turtling, the hailstorm feels hurt. And if they then become aggressive, go after, they will pressure the other person and activate their fear of being criticized or controlled or whatever. So it's an automatic old habit that it made sense that they would do that as a child. It made perfect sense. I say they get a Distinguished Medal of Honor. Right. The problem is that same coping strategy will not work in a marriage. They both have to change that habit. Basically, they need to be in the middle. Hailstorms need to learn to contain, not be so reactive, take a deep breath and start mirroring, if you will, or let their partner share without interrupting and without challenging so much. Turtles need to stick their neck out. The turtle can't get anywhere unless he sticks his neck out. Right. And so they need to learn to say, let's talk, I'm willing to talk, what do you want to know, and start sharing. Turtles will face the fear of being criticized, steamrolled over, controlled. Hailstorms will face the fear of being ignored, not connected to. But they have to face those fears in order to meet their partner's needs. They don't have to be hurt again. That's the thing that some people think, you have to be hurt again. That's not true. It's not like an isolator or a turtle has to be criticized. They simply have to be in the arena where they could be criticized. That's why they have to face their fear. And ideally, their partner will learn to not criticize them when they share, even if they disagree. When a hailstorm says, take your time, you don't want to talk, you need some space, don't worry about it, they're going to be afraid, they're going to be neglected, they're going to be lonely. They don't have to be neglected or lonely, but they have to face that fear.
You spoke to us about the 4 most important times in a couple's day.
Yes.
that affect the relationship. Would
Yes.
you share a little bit more about that?
Yes, there are 4 times in every day that are particularly important for a couple. What happens in those 4 brief moments has 3 or 4 times the impact on the relationship than any other time during the day. The first one is the first 4 minutes. Both people are awake in the morning. It starts when the second person gets up. It's important. Why? Because it sets the tone for the whole day. However you start off the relationship, that's the tone setter.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask couples then sit in my office and interview each other. What are the words you'd like to hear in the morning? What are the touches that you'd like to feel? What are the behaviors that would make you feel loved and cared about? We don't talk about schedules. We don't talk about anything except to connect, but touch each other's receptor buttons that we talked about. The second critical moment is the way you say goodbye. That one's important because it's the last lingering memory of the partner throughout the day. And you want that to be a positive one rather than a negative one.
Right.
And again, what are the words you'd like to hear? Wave goodbye, a 10-second kiss, walk me to the door, whatever feels like that was a nice parting. The third critical moment is the first 4 minutes they're both home at night. That one's crucial because it sets the tone for the period of the day when most couples spend most of the time with each other.
Right.
So that's a really important one.
Right.
And again, what are the words, touches, behaviors? Some people say, I like a 10-second hug, or a 30-second hug, or a neck rub. Like you come home and you're going to expect something nice to happen. You start looking forward to that. You don't want to come home to somebody angry at you or upset or complaining. That can happen later if there are problems, but the idea is to almost treat those 4 moments as sacred. Right? Some people say, tell me the best thing that happened during the day, or what's the best and worst thing? So they start off in a positive way, an empathic way. Sometimes people ask, what about children, small children? Well, you always include the small children.
Right.
You hug them first, and then even take them into the living room and let them participate in the 4 minutes. They'll enjoy it. They'll love seeing mom and dad hug each other, talk to each other.
And then the fourth.
The last one is the way you say goodnight. You simply end the day on a positive experience. Usually the one who goes to bed first starts, I'm going to bed now, and they do the goodnight hug or a kiss, or some people snuggle in bed for 30 seconds, and then one rolls over and reads a book, or the other one rolls over and goes to sleep. But if you attend to those 4 critical moments, it shifts the atmosphere of the relationship. People who tend to be isolators or turtles like it. Why? Because you only do it for 2 minutes at most.
Right.
You're never going to be trapped. You're not going to be stuck in anything. People with wounds of neglect or invisibility love it because 4 times a day you're getting a significant connection with your partner.
Right.
So it's a great habit to build.
I know that many therapists have possibly different ideas, but I think most of them they say not to have a television set in your bedroom. How do you feel about that?
I don't recommend it.
You don't recommend it?
No.
Dr. Brainerd, how can choosing a partner who is like a primary caregiver be detrimental or helpful in the building of your marriage?
We do find that people will in fact be drawn to a life partner, husband or wife, who will be remarkably similar, have a bunch of the positive traits of all of their caretakers, the ones that meant the most to them, and significant of the negative traits. And that has several benefits. It feels like coming home. It feels very familiar, very comfortable. You are connecting with someone who can touch you deeply. They matter a lot. And that's the part that's a double-edged sword. Because they are such a powerful person for you, because of their similarity. Some people think we can only be healed by the person who wounds us, or someone very similar. So that's why we are somehow drawn to somebody who could meet our deepest needs in a very special way. But that's a double-edged sword. If they keep doing those negative traits, if they keep doing their childhood habits, coping strategies that keep re-injuring their partner, then it's not good for the relationship. But if they can become conscious and aware and understand what those old habits are doing and learn new behaviors that will tend to comfort, soothe, meet unmet needs, then it's a powerful, positive thing in the relationship.